What is up, guys? Good morning. Phenomenal morning. How you doing? I am your host. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Junior Ray Frederick, representing the 75875 Grid. We have a phenomenal show for you today. But before we get into that, put it in the comments. Put some flames in the comments if you are tuning in live. I see some people are already on it. I see Bobby Jackson. I see Deborah. Deborah, good morning. Grand Rising, Bobby, good morning, phenomenal morning. Listen, guys, if you're coming in, two things. I want you to put where you're listening in from in the chat. So let us know where you're listening in from. And also put some flames in the chat. Let's get the energy up. We have a phenomenal show for you. Um, we always have a lot of questions, but today I actually have a question for you guys. I want you to put it in the chat. Tell me, what is one thing? We just celebrated Thanksgiving. So, what is one thing that you are absolutely grateful for? What are you grateful for today? I'll answer first. I'm just happy to be here. Every single day that I get up, it is an absolute win because it is an opportunity to perform to the highest possible degree and to serve lovely people like yourself. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see. I think we have Indiana in the building. We have the Philippines in the building. Who else? Bobby, let us know where you listening in from. Maurice is in Singapore in the building. Good morning. I'm gonna bring Shaan on in a bit. But put it in the chat. What are you thankful for? What is one thing that you're thankful for? And let us know how your Thanksgiving went if you celebrate that. Right? So put it in the chat. Let us know. But I want to talk a little bit about mine. Just to let you know, in St. Lucia, we celebrate Thanksgiving a few months before. So I didn't really have the Thanksgiving that you guys had, but I definitely enjoyed it to the highest possible degree. Trust me. Um, I did a lot of stuff that I might tell you guys about a bit later. But so we have Indonesia in the building. Indonesia, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'm gonna bring Shannon right now so we can get some questions going. But we have an absolute amazing show for you today. Mr. Rice, are you backstage?
Good morning. Listen, phenomenal morning, guys. Listen, we got so many announcements for you guys this morning. Not yesterday morning, this morning. I hope everybody's like well digested. Hopefully, people got back on the treadmill and worked out that stuff because there's so much food going on right now that people are waking up late. I know people are waking up late. So if you tune into this later, go ahead and just put that hashtag replay up in there. If you're catching this later, just put that
Right.
hashtag replay on there and let's grow. Let's grow. We got so many announcements. Just wait for it. We got so many different things we're gonna give you guys, New Year's gifts, all kinds of stuff. Mr. Ray Frederick, how's the weather over there, brother? How's the weather?
um, Sean, we have a joke. We have a joke in my country. It's always the same weather in my country. When you turn on the no, check this out. When you turn on the news station, right? When you
Yeah.
listen to the news, and when the weather guy comes on, he always says the same thing. I could predict solution weather without watching the TV. It's always partly cloudy with a few scattered showers. All like every single day. Like it's almost like a replay. Every time you watch the news,
Okay.
it's partly cloudy with a few scattered showers. But I mean the weather is amazing, man. Like it was raining a while ago, but it seems as if we just started the show and the sun came out. So that's pretty
Here we go. Here
that's a
we
good
go.
sign, right? It means it's gonna be
Breakfast
a
with the
bright.
brand. They
That's right.
said,
It's gonna be a bright show.
breakfast with the brand.
Uh-huh.
Time for the sun to come out.
Definitely.
I can remember in New York. I can remember in New York being young, going to school, and we would turn on the TV and hope that it was closed. We would hope that it rained, that it snowed, that something was taking place. So they would say school is canceled today. All of the buses, right? That would be phenomenal for us. That'd be a
Yes.
phenomenal morning.
Yeah,
Yes,
same
sir.
thing here. Same thing here. Like, because some places, because I used to travel, so I live in the south. So I used to travel to the north for school every day. It's like a 2 hour commute every single day
Mm,
from school. So sometimes when it rained a lot, like some of the bridges used to flood. and we used to have a ball. Like when the bridges flood, the buses they have to turn back and they have to bring us back home. So
Good
man, that
stuff.
was like
Good
that
stuff.
was so fun. That was so fun. That
It's
was like the
funny,
best time.
one thing about
Yeah.
perspective and youth and maturity, right? So perspective, youth, and maturity. When you're young, you run away from responsibility and you run away from education and you run away from structure. And when you get a little bit more mature, those same things that you ran from, you now run to. Isn't that something? Your perspective is like an
Yeah.
hourglass. It literally tips over,
True.
and everything that you ran from commitment, responsibility, you turn around and you begin to run too. So that's just something to grow on, kind of like the signs of maturity when you begin to embrace those same things that you used to run from.
Yes,
Definitely.
sir. That is so true. That is so true. But I've also heard the opposite. Like some people, there was this like meme, right? The meme says, "I had no idea being an adult would be so hard. Can somebody please take me back?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
somebody please take me back?" So some people, it's all about perspective. I think it's all about freedom, but most people don't seem to realize that freedom means freedom. So freedom means you have the freedom to do what you want, but it also means you have the freedom to find your own way, and you have the freedom to hunt.
Mm,
You
Let's
have to
talk
hunt
about that
now.
hunt piece.
Let's talk about that. You have to hunt, right? So it's not like back in the day when I guess you had people looking out for you. Now you have to plan.
Big
You have
difference.
to, yeah, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. And I feel like if you're not properly equipped with the skills, but most importantly with the attitude and the belief, the intangible things, as I call them, that require that's gonna make you successful. Motivation, internal motivation. Like me, I never listen to any motivational videos because I don't believe. I mean, I like it. It sounds nice, but I don't want it to be a crutch. So I don't listen to motivation. So guys, I don't do motivation. I am my own motivation. When I wake up in the morning, I just do what I need to do. I don't need to watch a motivational video to kickstart my day or anything like that. I just get a cup of
Pumped up,
tea
huh?
like this.
You don't need to get
I just
pumped
get a
up.
nah, 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 nah. Nobody needs to push me. Hey, Jared, you need to go. You need to do this. Nah, I'm good. I already know what I need to do. I need you
That's right.
to get out of the way or help me or
That's
help me
right.
do what I need to do. Yeah,
One or the other. If you're not
that's right.
pulling me, you pushing me.
That's right. Exactly. 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 But guys, we have an absolute amazing show for you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. I know we have some new people listening. Cordero Martin, I see you. Good morning.
Good
Guys, if you're
morning.
tuning in, let me know where you're listening in from. Also put some flames in the chat. Sean, we're gonna go to a quick break in 1 minute,
Okay.
right? But before we do you have anything to say to the listeners before we do that?
I said something on Facebook today. I made a post about morals, values, and principles, right? Morals, values, and principles. Don't forget the reason why you start, guys. Don't forget the reason why you began. A lot of times as we run this long race to get to the results, and it is a long race. Don't think it's a short, quick sprint. It's a long race, right? For those who can endure. That's what this is for those who can endure. So while you're going through that long stretch and all of those many curves and twists and hills, don't put down your morals, your values, and your principles anywhere. Keep those with you because that's what determines long-term success and fulfillment. Success is deeper than monetary rewards. Success is fully well-rounded. There's many dimensions to a human being, and you want to make sure that you are completely well-rounded when you finish or as you get through the race, as you were when you began. Let's grow.
Let's go. Let's go to that break, Mr. B.
Okay.
What
New
is up,
stuff.
guys? That's
New
right, new
stuff.
stuff.
Mr. B always come with some new stuff. Okay, that's good. That's good. One thing that I can say, right, is whenever we get a referral, recommendation, testimonial, I am uniquely humbled, right? It reminds me of why I began, why I do what I do, and how significant it is. And I want you to realize that too, right? Because you're going to get a lot of rainy days. People are going to try to rain on your parade, right? Everybody's not going to give you credit. Some people are going to take what you do and try to rub your name off of it and put their name on it, right? What I want you to do and what I want you to recognize and realize is that everybody's not your ideal. Everybody's not your ideal, and it's perfectly okay. That's why when you go into a Baskin Robbins or a Haagen-Dazs, there's always multiple different flavors. There's always multiple different flavors. So just because some people may pass over your flavor for it, no matter how long it takes to crack the code, when people start looking over your particular flavor or saying something disparaging perhaps about butter pecan, just know there's 15,000 people coming that love butter pecan and they got something negative to say about vanilla. It's bland. It doesn't taste right. Chocolate, strawberry, same things. There's always somebody for you. There's always somebody for you. And when they come, they appreciate you, right? And they give you testimonials, recommendations, and all that good stuff. So your time is coming, guaranteed. Let's get into that question. What's that Q&A piece, man? I'm excited, man.
Oh
Today's
yeah, we have
phenomenal.
some. Yeah, we have some great questions today. Some great questions. I'm gonna get into that. Before I get into that, quick shout out to Miss Walker. I see Miss Walker. Jonai. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So I'm just gonna say Miss Walker. We have people from Facebook. We have Kuwait in the building. So we have somebody listening in from Kuwait.
Let's
All right.
go.
So quick shout out to them. Cincinnati, Coach B. I believe that might be Crystal. Crystal, good morning.
Good
All
morning.
right,
Good
let's get
morning.
into some questions. Let's get into some questions. So the first one
All right.
is actually Rena from Chicago, right? So Rena
Okay.
says, "Hey Shan, good morning. Does your company only serve coaches and consultants? I'm in the real estate space and I'm seeking more avenues for growth and development of my skills. What can you provide me that can help me close more deals and streamline my process?"
Phenomenal. Well, you have a robust assortment of skills to choose from. Actually, we taught branding in the beginning, right? And we still teach branding with everything that we do. As a real estate professional, listen to this. You don't want to brand what you do. You don't want to brand the real estate because you Google real estate, you're going to have a million competitors and they probably started before you and they have bigger budgets. You're also going against the monolithic corporations, right? The huge corporations with the $1 billion budgets. Leave that alone. Don't brand real estate. Brand Rena. Brand who you are. Brand who you are, not what you do. Brand the who, not the what. Brand the who, not the what, and then the how. How do you do it that's significantly different than how everybody else does it? And if you don't know what that difference is, that's what we taught in Branded Like a Leader. Coaching like a leader. Coaching like a leader is how you communicate. It's a higher level of communication. It's an evolution of communication, professional and executive communication with individuals. That it's like interpersonal communication where you strategically assert yourself to persuade and be of influence. So that's coaching like a leader. You also want to coach your individual team members to perform at an optimal level. You can't lead without coaching nowadays. It's not a compliance era where you're standing behind them with the whip. This is an era where there's a high turnover rate because people can leave anytime that they want to. People can leave anytime they want to and maybe even get paid more somewhere else. So why do people stay? People stay because of the relationship. People stay because of the relationship, and they don't even leave their jobs. They leave their managers and they leave their leaders. So when you're the kind of leader, the kind of team lead that pushes, stretches, and transforms your sales team or your team in general, they're not going to go anywhere and grow like they will under your leadership and under your tutelage. So that's one thing. Another thing is when you're coaching your prospects through the buying process. They need some help. They need some support. So coaching skills will also help you to be of influence, persuasion, and also help your ideal clients raise up to the level that they need to be in order to excel in your field or in that certain situation. Closing like a leader. Closing like a leader is just how to do exactly what you asked, which is closing more deals. And then in February, we're doing speaking like a leader, where we're going to teach you how to speak eloquently and more sophisticated and professionally. And remember Warren Buffett when he said that the best investment that he ever made was a $200 investment in Dale Carnegie's speaking training course. Now, for him to say that and for us to know where he comes from and what he does now and what he's worth, for him to say that the most important investment that he made was in speaking, there's something there. There's really something there. The better a speaker you are, the better you'll be able to assert yourself, your expertise, and your executive presence wherever you go. Communication is the highest level skill on the planet. And if you can't do it, you will not be successful. So what we do is industry unspecific. It's not specific to industry. You can do this in the organization to get a better position, get a higher paying position, to move up, to communicate better with your boss, to more effectively assert your skills. Or you can do it in the entrepreneurial space to make your yearly income monthly, your monthly income weekly, and your weekly income daily. Grow your tribe, grow your business, and go from where you are to where you want to be. That's what we can help you with. Thank you for the question.
Yes, thank you for that question. Thank you for that question. But I want to go a little bit deeper, right, into the closing aspect. In fact, I was just having this conversation with somebody who's actually in real estate like 2 days ago, and I was telling her about personality types. I
Ooh.
remember being on a clubhouse meeting about a month ago, and the people inside of there, they were all agents, and they were talking about how they leverage their knowledge of different personality types to close deals. Now,
Mm.
obviously, they were not talking about the leadership chess test because they didn't know it. They were talking about some other system that I don't remember the name right now, unfortunately. But it just made me, it opened my mind, right, to the possibilities. So I want you to speak on that, like go a little bit into that and how effective a real estate agent would be if they understood the nuances of the leadership chess test and the personality types, and how to tailor their conversation and how to tailor their style according to who it is that they're trying to close.
Okay, phenomenal. I'm so glad that you asked me that. So we have four distinctive personality types: dominant, interactive, supportive, and conscientious, careful, and calculating. Dominant, drive, interactive, supportive, which can also be steady, and then conscientious or calculating. So for the person with the drive, or what we call the queen, because they move on the board and they're unrestricted, they move fast and they jump out, and when they jump out, everybody jumps back, right? So for that kind of person, all you want to talk about is ROI, results. This is the home, this is how much it costs. If you have any questions, ask me. Don't knock them down with a whole bunch of details, because you're going to lose them in that conversation. Don't speak about a bunch of bullet points. Don't do that. Bottom line, ROI, and get out of the way, because they're going to want to be demanding and they want to drive through like the queen does. The king or the C, on the other hand, is the absolute opposite. So those people you're going to want to talk to about they call it home owners associations within real estate, right? So those people you're going to want to talk about the HOA, right? The homeowners association, the different kind of the times that the trash is picked up, right? The amortization, the way that the house is going to appreciate. You want to talk to them about the percentages of crime in the neighborhood. You want to talk to them about the excellence rate in the schools in the neighborhood. Those are the kind of detail-oriented aspects that they're going to want to hear about. The supportive people, the bishops, you're going to want to talk to them about the people in the neighborhood, the community organizations in the neighborhood, the different charities that exist within the organization, the different events that come up, the support groups, because that's the kind of individual that they are. That's what their personality is drawn to. And then you have the high king, the high knights, rather, the very unique individuals. You can tell them by their colors. We go back, we go deep into this in that training, the leadership chess test. But those people you're going to want to talk to about how many gatherings and celebrations there are. You're going to want to also talk to them about the popular people within the neighborhood, because they want to be seen. They want to be perceived as very attractive. So when you tell them about the pay rate, that's an achievement. They're going, ah, yes, that's good. If someone famous lives in the neighborhood, they're going to say, ah, yes, that's good. Mm-hmm. If you tell them about the people that are coming through to see other people, you're like, ah, yes, that's good. I can be seen there too. If the neighborhood was recently in the news, they're going to be like, oh, it's an opportunity. Press is good, right? So the appearance for them is everything, right? The appearance for the high queen, results oriented, the high king, the statistics, the analytics, the quantization, talk about the details, the sharp points, the decimals. You can't be more specific with them. For the high knight, you're going to want to talk about all the people situations that they can get into, the different balls, the different celebrations that take place. And then the supportive, the bishop, you're going to want to talk about how many different support organizations there are, how many bake-offs there are, if there's any bingo within the neighborhood, different coalitions. That's what they want to know about, right? So for each individual, you have a different aspect and a different style of communication for those different styles of characteristics. It's very psychological. It's very deep. But once you know it, it's like playing chess or riding a bike. You never forget it. And you can tailor your conversation towards who you have in front of you. And when you learn it, you'll see all of the signs for those individuals. So there'll be things that they say. There'll be things that they're wearing. There'll be certain words that they use that will tell you who you're speaking to. So it gets really deep. I've been told that the training is deeper than the FBI training at Quantico.
Wow. Wow. Guys, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And this is so true. Let me tell you something. When I used I like I've done it so much, and I understand it so deeply that I do it naturally, right? Up to like when I walk into a supermarket. If I'm just walking to the supermarket on my business, if I'm talking to the cashier, I could tell, okay, this is that type of personality. So I tailor my conversation to her. And if I'm talking to somebody else in the aisle, then I tailor it to them, right? But I also want to let the listeners know, guys, if you want to know more about what Shan is talking about, we actually have a free assessment available on the website. That is at www.shanrais.com. www.shanrais.com. So you could go there, not right now, after the broadcast, after the broadcast, and get your free assessment. And by the way, it comes in three parts. And let me just address this, and we'll move on very quickly, right? Most people, they complete one part of the assessment, and then they're looking for the result. They don't get it back, and they send me questions like, hey, I didn't get my test results back. You have to complete all three parts of the
That's right.
assessment in order to get the result back. And then what happens is you schedule a call with one of our coaches so you could go over your test results and get more insight into who you are, what your strengths are, and how you could leverage those strengths to be more productive in your entire life. So it is an absolute game changer. Um, but definitely. So before we get into the next one, in fact, let's get into it right now, right? We have one from Anonymous. So Anonymous says, hey gentlemen, good morning. When it comes to building a brand, does the brand always have to be a personal brand? Why not an impersonal brand? I want to get into business, but I don't feel like I need to be the face of that business. So what would you say to that person, Sean?
It would depend on what you're selling. It would depend on what you're selling. So if you're selling services, it's very important that you develop a personal brand. to some degree. You have, and it depends where you're selling. So let me say that too. Because if you're offline, then you're selling to a specific characteristic. You're selling to a specific characteristic. And that personality trait doesn't really care too much about the who as much as they do about the what. So in that case, then yes, you can definitely do a blank, blank, comma, Inc. That can be the organization and the organizational brand. But those are the things that you want to highlight, not the who, but more of the what, and maybe a little bit about the how. Now, if you're selling products or services as opposed to products online, it's very important that you emphasize the who, because Facebook is relational. Facebook is relational. It's about relationships. TikTok, relational, about relationships. YouTube, relational. It's about, I want to see from a person as opposed to a huge organization. Something shifted during coronavirus. When people got their pink slips or the emails that told them that they were no longer needed or they were being sent home without pay, trust went down. Trust went down. Trust in organizations, trust in corporations went down. And people looked for relationships with individuals. That went up. So the personal brand went up. Brand equity of individuals who provide services and who were present during that time went through the roof. And loyalty, as well as faith and trust, no like and trust, KLT, right? No like and trust factor went down for organizations that were huge when there was no individual to communicate and people just got emails and text messages through their phones. It was impersonal. It was hard to swallow, and there was a lot of fear involved. So after that, dealing with what we're dealing with now in 2022 or 2021, almost 2022, if you're dealing with services, it's imperative to have a personal brand. And even those product organizations that are small businesses run by entrepreneurial minded individuals, even if it's products, it's so beneficial for them to develop a personal brand. Now, is it pertinent? Is it a must have? No. Is there strategies that you can use to make it so? Yes. And that would be hiring someone to be the face of the brand. If you are a CEO, that doesn't mean that you have to be the face of the brand. If you're an introvert and your thing is not speaking publicly, I know that's, well, one thing. If you're scared of speaking publicly, if you're uncomfortable speaking publicly, come to speaking like a leader and you will no longer be able to communicate like a champion. But if that's your thing and you don't want to be the face of the brand, then send your leaders to send the people that you want to be the face of the brand to speaking like a leader, and we'll show them how to cultivate that culture of communication, know, like, and trust, so that when they speak inclusively and they don't push people out, but they bring people in. Because even if you're in a product space, real estate, pens, shoes, hats, microphones, dresses, think about it. I see people post all the time on Facebook. Let's just use Facebook as an example. I see people post clothes all the time. Such and such business name, and they use these interchangeable models. So the models are generic, and you can literally press a button and switch the clothes, switch the clothes, switch the clothes. Everybody sees these pictures. There's like 4 or 5 pictures of the same person in the same pose with different clothes on. There's no relatability. There's no relatability. It's much different when someone says, hey, my name is such and such, and I grew up in such and such and such and such. And the reason why that I started a clothing brand was because I wanted to X, and my clothes are designed for people who live in XX and are between the ages of X and X. And this is why they're so formulating, they're fitting so the culture. Do you understand? There's a difference between people, places, and things. And when you're in the services business, people always win. Think about your nouns. Think about your nouns, people, places, and things. Which one is more warm? Which one is more welcome?
Hmm.
Which one makes you feel more comfortable? People, places, or things. Base your marketing strategy around that. Base your language around your decision. I don't mean that you have to, but if you do, I think it's going to be much more effective, especially in this new world economy that we live in.
Yes, sir. And on that note, we're gonna take a short break.
How do you close? How do you really get closure? How do you lock someone in? How do you get the pen to take place? How do you get the signature to take place? And for the pen to work, your mind has to work. When I say your mind has to work, your belief set has to work. Your mindset has to work. You have to know that it's possible. And when I say that it's possible, that you are possible, you have to believe and know within your core being that you are possible, that all the things that you want are possible, that all the things that you see in your mind's eye are possible. The pen just locks them in. The close, when someone says yes, when someone agrees, that's just confirmation. But for confirmation to take place, there first has to be contextual thought. Contextual thought, not just abstract thought. It's abstract when you say, I want to make more money. That's abstract. Contextual is a specific number, a specific amount. The pen makes it concrete. The pen is what makes it concrete and writes it into existence. So you don't want to be so abstract. You want to come back to reality. Come back to reality. Go from conceptual to contextual.
Guys, how was that? Hold on. I had to get my pen. I literally holding my pen when he said that. That was super powerful. And Shan is so right. Like the deal is never done until you close it, until you actually write it in, seal the contract, right?
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
if you're listening to this, let me remind you, you should have your writing instruments if you're listening to this, because we are dropping gems. If you're enjoying the show this morning, please put some flames in the chat. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Put some flames in the chat and let us know where you're listening in from. Mr. B, I believe we had a question from Coach B in the comments. Okay, there it is. So Coach B says, how important is it to understand your style for closing versus the style of the buyer style? So I'm guessing, let me read that again. How important is it to understand your style for closing versus understanding your buyer's style, the style of your buyer style?
It's everything. Self-awareness is everything. That's why we start with leadership development. The main focus and the main factor in leadership development is self-awareness, being aware of who you are. And that's, I'm going to encourage everybody to do what Junior Frederick just said and go to the website after this call if you haven't already. And if you have, maybe 6 months ago, go again and get that assessment, because what it's going to do is it's going to tell you about you. It's going to tell you about who you are. It's going to basically tell you what language you speak, right? So I speak the language of directness and forcefulness and punctuality, discipline. I speak that language. I'm a high queen, right? So that's my language style. That's the way I communicate. And that's the way I'm perceived as well. I'm perceived as forceful. So if knowing that, I'm able to say, okay, I'm very assertive. It can be perceived by other people as aggressive. I'm very assertive. It can be perceived by other people as aggressive. It can be perceived by people who might be high security-minded individual or conscientious and calculating as even arrogant. So knowing those things, I have to be mindfulness. I have to be mindful of myself and dial it back a little bit and stay humble. Stay humble. I stay humble, but I have to stay humble to the point where I watch my movements and monitor how excited I may become or how loud my voice may project. Because I just get excited and I naturally get loud. You probably have seen it before, right? You probably seen it before. I get loud and I'm articulate and I move my hands. I talk with my hands. That's just my style of communication. So knowing that about me, Coach B, I'm able to say, this is the way you are. This is the way you can be perceived. So if I see someone who's a high queen like me, I see the signs. They're talking with their hands. They're a little bit loud. We can talk and do the same thing because you attract who you are and you like people who are like yourself. So I'm able to get with them and really like come off well with them and be my natural self comfortably. And sometimes we can be there. It'll look like we're shouting at each other, but we're not. We're expressing large ideas and we're both excited and we're vocal. Now, if you switch that person out and you put a high king there or a high bishop there, they're going to feel a different emotion. They're going to perceive me a different way. So I have to know who I am. So when I see them, I can detect who they are and how they let me say this right, how they prefer to be communicated with. Very big. How they prefer to receive communication. So a high bishop, they prefer to receive information more people-oriented first. So I'm not going to talk about ROI or how much money you're going to make. I'm going to talk about the people that you're going to be able to support. I'm going to use words instead of finances or financial. I'm going to use things like family and familial. I'm going to say that you'll be able to create legacy for your family and you'll be able to be of support to the community and be perceived as a provider within that community so that you're reliable, insightful, and supportive. That's what they're looking for. Now, the high king, I'm going to say, okay, they'll be offended and maybe a little bit nervous or wary of me if I'm too loud. So I'm going to lower my voice and I'm going to bring out my education and we're going to talk about the statistics and analytics of the quantifications. We're going to quantify and qualify. So we're going to go through the bullet points and they're going to understand the ramifications once I present the hard data. The hard data. They don't need directness. They don't need the loud animation. They don't need the energy. They need the economicals. They need the economicals. They need the spreadsheet. So let me say it this way. The high knight, their language is people. Write this down. The high knight, their language is people. The high queen, their language is results. The high bishop, their language is support. And the high king, their language is data and numbers. If you speak numbers to me, I'm going to go to sleep. Or I'm going to excuse myself because that's not my preferred method of receiving communication. I have someone for that. I do on my team, and this is what you want to learn too. When you go past knowing yourself, then you learn other people. And when you know that when you build a business, when you build a good business, a well-rounded business that you need to have, think about chess. If you only got the queen on the board, you're in trouble. Love yourself. You love the way you communicate. But if you only got the king and the knight on the board, you're in trouble. You want to have a well-rounded assortment of individuals that you can run ideas past. It's like a filtration system. So it's very important. I would say 100% important, 1000% important to know yourself, and not only your style of closing, but your style of communication. That's what it is. And when you have other people involved, you also want to be able to know their style or preference of receiving communication. You can't close if you don't know these things. You can't close if you don't know these things because I just said results, people, support, and data. Those are four different languages. They are distinctly as different as French, Japanese,
Mhm.
Arabic, and English. They are just as different. So what happens when you're trying to close, guys, is somebody sees your stuff online. They see you've got the right stuff. They're interested. You've piqued their interest, and they book a call. Or you talk to them in the DM, you get them on a call. You're having a call, but you don't know their style and you don't know your own style of communication. You don't know their preference to receive communication. So you're speaking Japanese and they're receiving French. Do you see the disconnect? You're speaking English, but they're receiving in Latin and they're not multilingual. So what I teach in the leadership chess test is how to learn different languages. It's like the Rosetta Stone of communication, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I know for me, like I have my own preferred style, and I know when people come at me for a lot of fluff, and I listen to it and I have to chop it up like in five different ways, and be like, okay, so what you telling me is this, in like one sentence.
Hold
In
on,
one
hold on,
sentence.
hold on, Mr. Frederick. I gotta say something. It might not be a lot of fluff. It just might be that their preferred level of communication
No, no, it
is
is, it is,
animated.
it is. Yeah, yeah,
But you
it
see,
is. I'm not
but you
saying it's
see how
fluff,
it's
right?
perceived. But you see how it's
Yes, yes.
perceived. We got to know our own bias. So Mr. Frederick just said a bunch of fluff. It might not be that it's fluffy. It just might not be spoken or articulated in your preferred method of receiving communication. So because they're
Yes,
speaking French and you're listening in Japanese, you quantify it and disqualify it as being fluff.
true.
Is that a
Very
possibility?
true. That's a very that in fact that's the fact. I know that
That's
like this that's a fact. And I know that because like I wasn't trying to say, what they're saying, there's not value in it. Everything is valuable, right? Because they look at the way that I might put it, they might be like, oh, that's they might say the same thing about what the way that I communicate. So what they're saying is very valuable. Is very, very valuable. But I'm just saying that just to sort of make a point about what you were saying and how it's so true. So I might perceive it as fluff. Another personality type might perceive it as adventure or something else. So it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting, guys. I would advise you, everybody here, like this doesn't only work for like your business. This works with your family. This works with your spouse. This works with
yeah.
all relationships throughout your entire life. All relationships. So I would definitely advise you to do some more research. At least go onto the website www.shaanrais.com. It's a pop-up. It's gonna pop up when you go on the website. All you do is you just take it out. It is absolutely free. It costs a lot of money, but it's absolutely free. We've made it available to you for free, just to give something away, just to do that. But thank you very much, Sean. Guys, if you're enjoying the show, put some more flames in the chat. Quick shout out to Bobby, Maurice, Deborah, Cordero, Miss Walker. I see we have a lot of people here, man. We have Tenera Kroom. Good morning to you. We have
Have we
Maurice.
mentioned the challenges that are coming?
Carla Anderson, good morning. Carla's listening from California. Excuse me?
Did you see what Bobby just said?
Bobby.
Put that up on the
Hold
screen
on.
real quick. Mr. B, if you could grab that statement, put that statement up on the screen real quick.
Yeah, let's throw that up, Mr. B.
Now he's referring to the leadership chess test, right? And I just want to highlight what Junior just said about this helping you not only in your business, But communication and interpersonal communication, understanding your own and other people's preferences, styles, characteristics, and talents helps you in every aspect of your life. Mr. Jackson just said it helped me and my wife. He says, I did not understand her as much as I do now. When you understand, you value, right? And we know that the divorce rate is 50-50. Marriage is 50-50. Sadly, but truth, statistics says, for all of my high kings, right? Statistics state that the data, the annual data states that the analytics show that when you marry someone, there's a 50-50 chance that you stay married. Now, those are pretty bad odds. If you're a gambling man, right? That's those are pretty bad odds. So what does Warren Buffett say? He says the first rule of business is don't lose money. The second rule of business is see rule 1. The third rule of business is see rule 2. Don't lose money, don't lose money, don't lose money. In business, we know that money is time, and time is money. So when you get married, if you're gambling, what knowing this information does is it helps your odds. It helps your odds of staying in a good place in your marriage, staying in a good place with your children in the relationship, and staying in a good place on the right side of all of your communications, right? So really, you want to look heavily into that. Thank you so much for that insight, Bobby. It's very important that we understand that this is a tool that doesn't only help you in business, it also helps you in your relationships, in your marriage, and in all aspects of your life and communications. I see it on the bottom, guys. We have a challenge coming up December 18th and 19th. Branded Like a Leader. If you guys remember, that is the flagship program for this brand. That was the inaugural. That was like the coronation of this brand. Branded Like a Leader is the one that took us from crickets to digits, from unknown to full blown, no matter what the pandemic took us from 0 to multiple 6 figures. This is the one that will set your beginning off. There's multiple people who just went through Branded Like a Leader and their careers took off. In the organization, as a brand, creating your leadership brand, creating your equitable executive brand within the organization, and also outside of the organization as an entrepreneur. So it doesn't make a difference what industry you're in. People have come in through multiple different industries, taking Branded Like a Leader and made their yearly income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. That's December 18th and 19th. And listen, I've got another.
So hold on,
You want me to hold on? You want me to say that? All right, cool. I'm gonna hold on to that one. Go ahead.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back after the break, we're gonna get a few more questions, and then we're gonna talk about Shaan's big announcement, the brand's big announcement. Okay, let's roll it, Mr. B.
All right. Here we go. So we got a question from David Matthews. Asks, will the assessment link be reposted at the end? Mr. Matthews, you just have to go to ShaanRais.com and it will pop up on its own. It's super easy to take. You just register and it all comes to you. Again, that is a psychometric instrument that Fortune 500 use and organizations use for succession planning as well as leadership development. So each individual, you're going to learn so much about yourself, and the people around you. It's a human behaviors tool. It's a behaviors and personality instrument. So it comes from high level organizations. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you your talents, traits, characteristics, and preferences, as well as the way that you're being perceived. Yes, sir. You're very welcome. No worries.
All
Let's
right,
roll.
let's grow. Let's grow. And quick shout out to Mr. Matthews. Quick shout out to you. Yes, sir. So, what you got for us? I heard you have something special for the people. So talk to us. Talk to us. What you have?
All right. So, you know, this is very deep for us, right? Because there was a time when we had no clue what we would be doing, like many of you may have. Really like some ideas, some talent, some education, some experience, some hope, some belief, some desire, some craving to be of service, but you don't know exactly how. You don't know exactly what. You see people online crushing it, killing it day after day, like they got all of their stuff together, but it's like when it comes to you, you've got the education and you got the experience, but you still don't know how to package that piece and present it to the world. Everybody comes to you for advice. Everybody comes to you for coaching, right? Ideas on how to. But and you're great at giving the advice, but you don't know how to monetize this excellence that people see in you. You've got the education, you've got the experience, but you don't have the marketing piece. You don't know how to bring it to the market. You don't know how to brand it, how to perfect it, or what we do really online. So listen, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to pull back the curtain. January 8th and 9th, we are doing a 2022 brand new you. So it's a new year, new you, but it's a brand new you in 2022. But let me tell you something, guys. The way you begin the year is how you end the year. The way you begin the year is how you end the year. So if you started running, then you're going to end it. You're going to run through that finish line and break the tape at the forefront of your game, at the forefront of your branding, at the forefront of your business. Listen, we've done it multiple times. We've done it multiple times with multiple programs, with multiple people, under multiple strenuous circumstances. So, people notwithstanding, situation notwithstanding, pandemic notwithstanding, no matter what the economic state is, no matter what the biological state situation is, we've overcome all of those odds. And we're going to show you how to do it. We're going to show you how to do it January 8th and 9th, guys. Brand extravaganza. The brand extravaganza. Do not miss it. This is the one that you don't want to miss. We don't do too much where we try to give everything, right? On those challenges, they're usually like 6 hours combined. We'll do 9 to 12, 9 to 12 on both days. There's going to be a VIP here. This will have a VIP component where we will do from 9, first day, get ready for it. My team don't even know it. I'm about to say it. Once I say it, it's in the books. So the first day we're going to do from 9 to 5, right? So from 9 to 12, general admission. But then we get serious and we go deeper. We get serious and we go much deeper from 1 to 5, full business day. Sunday, we'll go from 9 to 12, general admission, VIP, from 1 to 7. From 1 to 7. 2 full days of branding and business development. Full immersion. We're going to pull back the stops and you're going to get absolutely everything that you need. When I say everything, I mean everything that you need to build your business in 2022. So no matter what your income is, no matter what's on your last year's tax statement, no matter what happened in 2021 is done. Put a cork in it. 2021 is done. 2022 is a brand new you, brand new business model, brand new brand, brand new ideal client. I don't know what it is that you need. You do. But I guarantee you that within this curriculum, within this construct, within all of these hours, you will find exactly what you need. Not only are we going to give you exactly what you need, we're also going to show you how to activate it so you can stop the guesswork, stop trying, right? Because we know to try is to fail. So there's constant trying. It's like you're listening to a safe and you're trying to crack the safe and you're just hearing and you don't know what to start with. We're going to tell you what to start with if you're just beginning. We're going to show you what works so you know what to do if you've been in business for a moment. We're going to show you how to ramp up your revenue. If you've got your products, you've got your service, you've got your book, you've got your course, and you just don't know how to bring in the revenue, we're going to show you that. And if you do know, and you are bringing in some money, and you're a little bit like, this is so much, it's not giving me any time back. I'm spending so much time to get the money. I'm winning now, but I'm crushed by the winning. It doesn't feel like I'm winning because I'm stuck in service delivery. I'm stuck in product fulfillment. So for those people, it's okay. We're going to show you how to build a team. So it's not all you. It's not on you anymore. So we're going to show you leadership. And a big part of leadership is delegation. Delegation of responsibility. So it's not all you. So you can actually enjoy your family in 2022. You can actually enjoy your money in 2022. You can actually enjoy success in 2022. And even though you're making some money, you can actually say, I feel like I'm winning in 2022. Brand new you, brand extravaganza. You'll get the details soon. Let's grow.
Let's grow. And before we sort of close off, right? Just want to say, guys, if you are interested in attending, in sort of registering before the actual details come out, if you are interested in sort of safeguarding your spot for this event, send an email to support@shaanrais.com to safeguard your spot. All right. And remember, it's a brand new U 2022. You can't win today's game with yesterday's score. Let's grow.
Uh-oh. There you go. You can't win today's game with yesterday's score. I'm
Yeah, you
done.
can.
I'm going to write it down. That's it. It's in the books.
You know I
Let's
had to
grow.
drop one. Let's grow.
Let's get it.